Hello, hi. I know I was missing 2 days, but here I am. I'll tell you all about it. First, my shoulder is cold because I want to show you something. Who knows what these are? I'll tell you in a minute. I'm getting cold, so. So this is little tiny superficial burn marks when you get this medicine called Kambo. It is not psychedelic medicine. It is a medicine from the jungle, from Amazon, from I believe mostly the Brazilian Amazonian tribes. So Kambo with a K. This is what I did in the 2 days that I was missing. I'll tell you more about it because I did a lot. So I want to first catch up. And so yeah, I missed 2 days in here. And that's okay. I'm back in here. I had a good reason. So on Friday, I had time in the morning that I could have done a video, but my mindset was already somewhere else, and I decided that I'm just gonna let it be, because I was going for a little circle way mushroom ceremony. It was absolutely amazing. It was my first time sitting with a mushroom in a ceremony. I've done three journeys with mushroom before as part of like psychedelic led therapy with a therapist, like one-on-one. Well, two to one, because one me and two therapists. One talking and one just holding space. And yeah, interesting. I'll tell you more about those things later, but this time was my first time sitting with mushroom as this kind of a ceremonial space. And it was some experience. It wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't like a very deep, like a wow, such a met my angels or went to hell and met the devil or something. So no, like it wasn't like psychedelic as such. And it was interesting because I think the medicine was mild, so everybody had a very calm, gentle night, which was actually perfect. So I went that, but even before, like it was a more than 2 hour drive for me, and I was just mentally getting ready, and I wasn't doing much with the morning. Like, I don't think for these things you can't just live your normal day and then just, by the way, hop in there. So you kind of, once you decide that you're going to go, your body is already and your psyche is already starting to get ready. So I thought I was squeezing a video, but in the end I was like, oh, I just have to go. And once I was in that space, there was no way I was going to sneak away for like a few minutes just to check in. So anyway, I'll tell you more about that also later. So I had an amazing night, met amazing people. And then in the morning, we had this medicine, Kambo, which is very much cleansing in a physical, emotional, and spiritual, energetic, all the levels. My Kambo was very interesting as well. I'll tell you more about it. It was interesting in a way that it was so gentle. Whoever knows about Kambo, and I mentioned it in another video earlier, it can usually be quite tough. It's quite easy experience for me. Good release. You're just releasing a lot of what you no longer need. Then I thought I'm coming back, and I had already, as I was driving back, I had so much I wanted to say, and I was thinking what to share, and I was like, how can I even structure and talk about it over a few days, because if I would just sit down and start talking about it, I was sharing my only the journey part with my husband, and he knows all about other, my background and everything, so I don't have to do so much explanation. And suppose maybe I can go a little bit deeper than I would go in here as well. But it took me an hour to just tell him what happened in my journey. But yeah, I'll definitely take the whole video. Maybe I will do it tomorrow when I just sit down and call it my mushroom journey and explain that. Maybe I do a separate video specifically on Kambo. It's gonna more searchable as well, if somebody ever I have to figure out those hashtags and all of those things as well. I haven't been doing any of those, because I love listening to other people's stories as well. Before I ever went to do any of my medicine journeys, I would not actually, before I went through my first ayahuasca, I didn't do much listening to others. I was like, no, I don't want to be putting all these ideas and expectations in my mind, or fears, or so I was like, I knew enough what it was, and I was like, I knew some stories, but I was like, wasn't going through like hundreds and hundreds of stories. And to be honest, I wouldn't recommend my friends, whoever would want, would ask me like, what will I do? I wouldn't tell them to do that. But later on, when I already had my experiences, I went through it. So even now, every now and then, I get through a little cycle of listening to other people's stories. So probably that might bring more viewership as well. People like looking for mushroom story, or ayahuasca story, or Kambo story, or something. What else? So we had the Kambo in the morning, then we did a lovely yoga session. One of the girls there just was like, spur of the moment, like, oh, I'm a yoga instructor, well, why won't we do some stretching? So we stretched ourselves a little, move, get the energy moving, and then we had an amazing breakfast that we cooked ourselves. Well, mostly them. I helped a little bit, the organizers did most of the work. But, we were all in the kitchen doing bits and pieces as well. There was only 7 of us, plus the 2 facilitators. So nine people. So it was lovely, intimate, such a lovely group of people. I only knew one person before I went. I knew one of the facilitators. That was amazing as well, what I wanted to say about this. Maybe I'll repeat it in my mushroom journey later. See, remember if you heard any of my earlier videos, I've been talking about how I'm a projector in human design, specifically a mental projector, and how the strategy of decision making, basically, as a projector is you need to wait for the invitation, which is quite difficult, but many people who have actually implemented that in their lives, they're like, oh my god, this works so well, so I'm only kind of new to this, and waiting for an invitation, you have to maybe sit around, like you can't test it out very easily, like how would your life change if this is your strategy to decision making and living your life. It feels so like disempowering first, like what, I can't do anything, I can't start anything myself, I don't do anything myself, I just have to wait until I'm invited. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but there's so many videos that will explain that very, very well. So, but anyway, so that's something that's been recently on my mind. I'm trying to test this out in my life, because I only recently came to human design to learn about more and get my own design chart. I think it was maybe May or June last year. But so it was interesting even how I ended up in there. There's my friend I know who's a shaman. I know a few years. I haven't been in contact with her much other than the odd message on Facebook, how you were liking each other's photos or something. I haven't seen her actually for a while, and somebody calls me, it's like, oh, I have 2 places for my retreat, and I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about going for working with mushrooms or anything, and I was like, 2nd of January, it's really like so much on. The kids are still home from school and they're just about going back to school. And we have renovations on, and I don't really have that kind of free money I could just like take and go. So that was obviously a big consideration as well. And so I said, oh no, it would be lovely, but just with the time and the money and driving, it wasn't close to me, and I was like, I said, oh, I'd love to do it another time, just busy time. And then I remember I shared here that on the 31st of December I had this kind of a emotionally difficult and heavy and low day. And then after I'd been in bed for the most of the day, I suddenly remembered, oh, I just remembered that the invitation. I was like, I texted my friend, I was like, do you still have that space? Like, I'm not saying yes yet, but if you do have the space, I'll consider still. And she did have a space, and right away I was like, yeah, okay, I'm coming, whatever, like I need to. Perfect start to the new year. She's like, yeah, don't worry at all, it'll be amazing, gentle, feminine energy, you know, you'll be well held, and what a best way to start. You know, it was actually on the evening of the 2nd, but it's the night, the 3rd, like most of the night is the 3rd of January, so the height of the full moon as well, of the super moon. So I went, and that's kind of the perfect example as well, how you respond to an invitation. First you scan your invitations as well, you don't have to respond to every invitation, of course, as a projector. So you only respond to the quality ones and the ones that you know you want to do. But yeah, it's just a little example from my life, how like responding to an invitation actually turns out very well. I was like so happy that I went. The Kambo in the morning, then yoga, and then beautiful food, and then integration circle. Everybody got to talk what they needed to talk, and got supported, and so beautiful. So I was driving back. Oh, I have to tell you about the moon as well. I wish I had a picture, because when I was driving there to that place, I was driving, so it was a sunset time. So kind of in front of me, to the a little bit to the side, was the sunset. So the beautiful sunset colors and orange sky and all of this, and kind of a little bit to the right and to the back of me. I didn't even realize, but once I just looked over, and whatever the way the road had gone and the light had changed, I looked back, and it was, Irish countryside, and so the rolling green hills and the sky, the opposite of the sunset. I think the sun was already down, so the colors were kind of more cool. So it was so deep purple, and so kind of pastel-y, deep purple, and kind of like a cool purple. The light was already down, and it was starting to get a little bit darker. And this moon was just so big and so full, and was just above the horizon, so it was like massive. And a little bit red. Oh, here's my kids. Sorry, there'll be a little cut here because my son just bursted in. Of course, that's life with the kids. I'm not really ready to bring them on here yet. Maybe one day. But anyway, I don't even remember what was I saying. But I have to finish this up now because it is bedtime and it's a school night. But I was talking about the amazing moon. So the sky was just so beautiful on this Irish countryside of rolling, green hills, and so beautiful. And then the lines of trees, there was just lines of trees that had lost all the leaves, so it was just like bare sticks left, just branches. And then the moon was sometimes sitting just on top of this tree line, and sometimes coming through the trees, depending which way I was turning, where I was actually. So I was driving like this, driving, like going like full speed, 120 kilometers per hour. And I was driving, looking back, driving, looking back. I was like, driving, oh my god. So I was like, this is so hard to drive and look at this, like every now and then I was like, I want to see it more. So I kind of had a few just quick glimpses. There was nowhere to pull in as well. I was like, oh, I wish there was somewhere to pull in to go and take a picture. But then roads, by the time there was a pull in place, it wasn't so impressive anymore. The moon had kind of gone missing behind somewhere, clouds or something. Yeah, clouds came in. But then on the way home, I was actually driving the other way, so the moon was a lot of the time just in front of me. So I was driving to the moon, exactly the same, very deep purple, pastel-y, beautiful color. Like it was otherwise blue sky, so it wasn't like there was no clouds or anything. It was just the whole, that part of the sky was just like kind of this steady purple with a little bit of shading between, different directions. But it was so beautiful, and the moon was, and it was the moonrise. And I remember one time it was like there was this kind of a hill, and there was all this row of trees, and the moon was just like sitting there, like traveling with me. It was just like out of a movie or something. One of the most impressive moons I've ever seen. So I definitely wanted to share the moon. I wish I had a beautiful picture. Anyway, so I quickly just to recap my weekend, and then I'll tell you more about details as days go on. So when I got home on my beautiful drive, and then over those 2 hours I was driving, it was the sunset and the beautiful moonrise, and then obviously it was getting dark, and then even in the darkness the moon was getting higher and higher, and the stars came out, and it continued to be beautiful but always transforming. Anyway, I got home, and my family was just out, just in the shop or something. They were gonna come shortly. I just took the dog out for a little walkabout, and then I just knocked. I didn't even plan to even go and knock to one of my friends, who's my neighbor. But since I was out with the dog, and it was cold, and I didn't really want to go I just got a text from my husband that they're just on the way back, so I didn't want to go far. I wanted to be home and see them when they're back. So I was like, I'm just gonna knock quickly to the friend of mine, because I hadn't even told her where I'd gone, because it all came so last minute. And then I'll tell you more about it as well in a separate video, but basically we ended up making a plan that just we'll finish our dinner time with our families, and then she'll make a cacao, and we'll go to the beach just to talk and chat and have a little cacao ceremony. So we did that. She's also a shaman, a kind of Irish type of shaman, rather than somebody who would work with, Amazonian medicine or anything. She took her singing bowl and a little rattle and the little blanket for all the goodies, and she had prepared cacao for us. And we went to the beach. Dublin is by the sea, by the Irish Sea, of course, and then we're literally 10-minute drive away. We're very close to the sea, so that was just up to the sea, and it was beautiful, like this long sandy beach, and you could see the water, and then the city lights across the water, and the moon and the stars, and it was so bright. We didn't even need any light with us at all, but it was so cold. It was probably, I think it was like around 0 degrees, but like how it feels, like how the weather apps will tell you like what the actual temperature is and how it feels. So it said like it feels like -5, and it was wet, and we didn't really bring anything to sit on, so we were sitting on like a towel and on the back. so cold over there, and we had a really good deep conversation as well between us, and that was very, very nice. So completely unplanned as well. So that's how I topped up my weekend with this amazing time with my friend, Cacao. And that was yesterday, and today I'm here. Today I went and spent a day with a friend in the afternoon until now, until the bedtime. We had some very interesting conversations, and yes, I'm not going to say more about that. I will talk about those one of those topics we discussed today. But in a different video, this topic will definitely come up, because I have some big life changes happening that I will have a separate video about as well. But this is just a little check-in and catch up, and just what happened over the weekend, and all the details are coming in the next videos. Oh, and I also wanted to say this. I'll say it in the next video. I wanted to do. Yes. Never mind. I have so much to say, but I have to go and put those kids to bed. And I'll be back here tomorrow with more kind of details. About everything. I would literally sit here 2 hours and talk, but I have to go. So, have a good night, or if it's daytime, have a good day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.